What is up, guys? Blue Sun JRPGs here, back with another video. This is actually probably the debate I've had the most about RPGs. You'd probably think it would be like Western RPGs versus JRPGs or PS1 versus SNES, but in reality, the debate I've had the most about RPGs, or centered around RPGs, is are sports games RPGs? It's a pretty simple question, and for me, the answer has always been yes. But especially nowadays, sports games are going even further towards RPGs. Look at the introduction of FIFA's The Journey or Madden's Long Shot. I'm sure the NBA games have something like this too, and I know some of the tennis games had this as well, where you basically follow around one person's career. And especially in the journey, you actually have dialogue choices and a personality. And the dialogue wheel seems a lot like a lot of the BioWare games, whether it be Mass Effect or Dragon Age. So that definitely brings a lot of RPG elements into it. Now, the big thing that a lot of people will point to as saying that, sports games aren't RPGs because they don't have a final boss. That's the argument I get the most. There's no final boss, you're not fighting anybody, so it can't be a sports game. I do have to disagree. There is no final boss, I'll grant you that. But there is an NBA championship or a Super Bowl, and that kind of takes the place of the final boss. It's the ultimate goal that you're trying to accomplish. And yeah, you're not fighting them, but you're playing against them in a game. So while it's not exactly the same, it's definitely a different take on it. And a lot of people will say that, there's no armor in RPGs. There's no customization of your armor. You're not choosing between light leather outfits and heavy steel outfits. It's all just the same. But that's actually not true either. In FIFA specifically, you have certain shoes that will add boosts as far as speed. Where you'll have like long sleeve shirts or whatever that adds physical abilities. Little things like that in the game change characteristics, and you unlock these actually by doing things in the game, which is pretty cool as well. But even going back to the old days where there was no individual player modes and there was basically just like career modes, I would still consider that an RPG. Now that's more of like a Western RPG in my opinion, where the journey modes or individual player modes are kind of like JRPGs because they're telling you an individual story. Those career modes where you pick a franchise or pick a club and you basically try to build that club up, that's like a Western RPG for me. Because you basically have an open canvas. You can make that team anything you want. You can basically tear it down and start over and build it up from the beginning. Or you can do whatever. You can, like in FIFA, you can take a team from the 4th division up to the Premier League and win the championship. So you really have an open slate, and you can essentially play a role in a game. I mean, isn't that the definition of a role-playing game? You're basically playing the role of coming into a franchise, taking it over, and getting it back to the 1st division. I mean, I can't think of anything more like an RPG than that. I will say that some of the sports games back on like the SNES or NES, where it was just 1 versus 1 modes, one game at a time, I'll say that's not an RPG. I would agree with that. That's kind of its own genre. But today's games, you look at every game, whether it be sports or any other type of games, they're so varied. I mean, they all come across multiple platforms. I mean, some games go from first-person shooters to third-person shooters to RPGs. Games are so incredible nowadays that they cover a wide variety of genres, like movies too. There's no movie that's just comedy. There's no movie that's just drama. Every movie has a certain aspect of each in it. Now, I'd love to hear some of your guys' opinions on whether you think sports games are RPGs or not. I'm sure some of you will disagree, and that's definitely cool. Everybody can have their own opinion. But whether you guys think sports games are RPGs or not, whether you guys play sports games, whether you guys think they're shit, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching my videos. Really appreciate all the support lately. It's been an incredible ride. Massive, massive thanks for every single one out there. Alright guys, peace out. Blue Sun JRPGs.